welcome to another full class in the original Lotte Berk barre technique. Today I'm going to be taking you through another full class from warm up through cool down. We'll work the entire body from head to toe. The diffuser blend we've decided to use for this particular workout is called Crisp Breeze. You'll find the recipe for that particular diffuser blend down in the description box. You'll also find the crystal suggestion, which is Tiger's Eye. So we're going to be using Tiger's Eye because of its ability to make you up your endurance, physical endurance. It's also a very uplifting stone and gives you a lot of creative energy. And knowing that the original Lotte Berk class is rooted in modern dance and creativity, Tiger's Eye is a perfect stone to use to have somewhere in your practice space, or maybe even on a diffuser bracelet such as I'm wearing here, or rather a crystal bracelet. I'm wearing one here with one crystal for all the chakras, and Tiger Eye is definitely one for solar plexus. And if you just wanted to use a standalone oil for this class, I would suggest using bergamot, which is one of the oils that's in the diffuser blend. It's another uplifting oil, another invigorating oil, a refreshing oil. So if you decide to use just one single oil, I would recommend bergamot. Otherwise, the diffuser blend that we're recommending is bergamot, sage, and rosemary. Again, very uplifting and goes along really well with the theme of the class. We are also going to be using an affirmation for this class, which is, I welcome the joy of a crisp breeze into my life. Sometimes we just need to kind of go with the flow, and this class is designed to give you that time that you need to feel free and flowing and also feel strong and lengthened and flexible when you're done. So let's get started with our warm-up. The warm-up is always the same from class to class, so once you get the warm-up, you'll know what to do. We do about 8 to 10 repetitions of every exercise. So we're going to start here. Bring the arms overhead. We're going to come down, double bounce, swing, and come back up. So you really want to try to get a nice stretch through the upper body, get the blood nice and flowing, get everything warm. I'm working with a cold body here, so I'm just kind of taking my time going through the movements. And my earbuds are just going to drop out the entire time, so bear with me. One more swing down, double bounce, come on up. I'm going to grab my earbud, open the legs up nice and wide. We're going to do our reaches here with a nice flat back, or as flat as you can, nice and flat behind the legs. Just imagine that you're reaching for something in front of you. Try to get flat behind the knees, otherwise get as flat as you can depending on how you're feeling today. Come down, tuck the chin into the chest, little taps on the floor. Then we're going to combine the two moves. We're going to do reach and tap. So really get a nice stretch through the upper body, lower body's working. Think belly button to spine, so you're keeping that core safe, which keeps keeping that core nice and tight, which keeps the back safe. Let's do a couple more of these, then we're going to move into porpoise. Okay, so come on down, stack the hands. I want you to come up, over, and jump through the legs, or sweep the arms, shoot the arms through the legs. My brain needs to get warmed up apparently too. Up, over, shoot. Up, over, shoot. Again, just going as quickly or slowly as your own body allows. One more. Now just shoot here. Shooting through the legs. Now grabbing onto your ankles or your shins, whatever is available to you. And we're just pulsing the chest toward the thighs. And now stack your hands and draw figure eights over your toes. So a few inches over your toes. Keep those hips nice and still. Really just kind of working through the waist, working through the spine here. Now, I'd like you to bend your knees, walk your feet back together, slowly roll up to stand. How does the last thing to come on up? Bring the left hand into the left leg and up and over with the right here. So up so you can see I'm really stretching through that waist. Trying to get my hand to go as far down as on my leg as I can. Now we're going to come center and do the opposite side. So my right hand is traveling down my right leg and I'm reaching up and over with the left. Trying to keep a soft bend in my knees. I have a tendency to lock my knees. Now we're going to grab onto the elbows, or you can grab onto your shoulders. My elbows are what's available for me here today, and we're just going to do that same up and over movement that we just did, alternating from side to side. And this movement, or this whole warm-up is great to do even on its own. Bring the hands down to the side, up and over with the hands. I can feel my spine and hear my spine making all sorts of adjustments. So really helping to warm me up this morning too. And bring the arm. I want you to make sure you have enough room behind you. Some nice big arm circles. I didn't want to slap into my bar, so I'm going to just readjust myself. And opposite side. And now we're going to make some like big flamencos. So up, over, and back. I'm actually able to touch my hands together behind me. It's okay if you're not able to. My arms are very flexible as I am double jointed. So I do have that luxury of being able to slap the tops of my hands together, up, over, through, up, over, through. You can even bend into this a little bit. And now we're just going to do little up and over, slight bend in those elbows. Just getting the upper body, nice and warm. Now keep a flat hand and just imagine you're slapping the wall behind you. So little backs, feeling the chest firing up. Now little ups, same flat hands, little ups. Now make a fist, do circles back. Now bring the hands front and center and imagine you're clapping, well, don't imagine, clap the air in front of you. So again, I'm feeling my chest fire up. Bring the hands together. I'm going to go back here. So I'm just going to pop down so you can see. I'm just going back with my hands. Stay standing. And then bend, extend. Bend and extend. Now bring the arms down, do some shoulder rolls back, opening up through the chest, opening up through the arms. Get some shoulder rolls going forward here. Bring the hands to the shoulders. Try to close the elbows and then open. So close, open. Really working through those shoulder joints. I like this move. I think it feels really good to kind of open up through the chest, open up through the shoulders. Now, I'm going to grab onto your forearms, grab onto the skin, hold on, and imagine that you're pushing up your sleeves. So we're holding on, pushing the skin up, feeling that chest fire up. And now reverse the hold. And finally, we're going to do some neck stretches. So I'm just going to take a nice gaze over my right shoulder. Center, left, center, right, center, left, and then just going to bring my head down to my shoulder here. Center, other side, center, one more time each side. And our final exercise or warm up, drop the chin to the chest, do a little semicircle. One way, other, very careful. And release. All right, so we are all warmed up. We're going to bring ourselves over to the bar to do some top of the thigh work. So we're going to start here with the feet are parallel, soft bend in both legs, extending the outside leg nice and long and strong, drawing those hip bones forward so that we're not feeling too much tightness in our hip flexor. Arm out to the side, crown of the head up to the ceiling. And we're just going to do some big bends and stretches here. So nice big bend and stretch, standing nice and tall through that torso. Bend, stretch, bend, stretch. One more, bend and stretch. Now do little bend stretches here. So really imagine you're just kind of like very gently tapping like a ball or something. Really feeling that stretch through the outside of that, through the underside of that leg, top of the thigh. A few more here. Keep the bend and just do some little ups. Try to keep a soft bend in that leg, really feeling that thigh fire up. Try to keep that inside leg nice and straight. And now we're going to go back to big bend, stretch, bend, stretch, bend, stretch. Two more, bend, stretch. Last one, bend. Keep it stretched, little bend stretches again. Keep that little bend here in that leg. Now give me that happy foot, nice and flat behind the knee. Happy foot pumps up to finish the side. Nice and straight, really giving a strong push through that heel. Hold, maybe bring the other hand off the bar. Release down and stretch. So now we're going to go to the other side, same setup here. Bring that leg nice and straight forward. Bring it up. We're going to bend and stretch. Bend, stretch. So really get a good bend. Bring that leg up as high as you can. Bend, stretch, bend, stretch. Last one, bend. Keep it stretched and little bend stretches here. Trying to stay nice and tall, shoulders down the back. Crown of the head to the ceiling, really concentrating on lengthening that thigh, getting a nice tight core. Mine always falls out, so I'll remind you of that. Little bend, ups. So just little bend with that knee, just continuing to work that thigh with some little ups. And then we're going to go back to the big bends and stretches right now. So bend, stretch, bend, just do 5 of these. Bend, stretch. Last one. Bend, stretch. Let's do our little bend stretches again. Trying to keep that leg up as high as we can. I know it's starting to fatigue. We're almost done with this side. Now give me that happy foot here. Really pushing through the heel. Nice and flat behind that leg. Little happy foot pumps up. Nice and tall through that torso. Now hold that leg, maybe bring the other arm up, release down, stretch it out. You can even give yourself a couple of leg swings if you need. So we are going to move to back of the thigh now. So I'm going to turn to the side so that you can see. We're going to be working hamstring and back of the leg. So we're going to bring the feet together in a little pizza pie shape here. We're going to draw that. I'm going to draw my left leg back, making sure squaring my hips back toward my bar. Soft bend in the inside leg. I'm going to lift that leg off the ground. I'm going to stretch, bend, floor, lift. Stretch, bend, floor, lift. Stretch, bend, floor. That's what we're doing. Stretch, bend, floor, lift. So just using that bar to keep us nice and tall through the torso. Crown of head to ceiling. Floor nice and tight here. I'm going to pull my belly in. Stretch, bend, floor, lift. Good. Feeling this in the hamstring, feeling it in the glute, even maybe in the calf. Stretch, bend, floor, lift. Stretch, bend, floor. Last one. Stretch, bend, floor. Keep it lifted and just do little pumps up here. Again, if those hips open up, keep them back toward that sturdy surface. Just doing some little pumps, really feeling the work in the glute here. The back of the leg. Now we're going to just do bend stretch. So stretching that leg out to the corner. Little bend, big stretch. Really want to stretch as far as we can to that corner. Stretch, 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 stretch. A few more. And now just really give me a nice point through that toe. Bring that leg up as high as you can. Maybe flex the foot. Release down and really stretch it out. I'm going to turn my bar here so that you can see me doing the opposite side. Same thing. Bring the feet together. Open up to a nice little pizza pie first position. Rotate that leg back. Make sure you rotate those hips back toward that surface. Just resting the hands on the bar. We're going to stretch, bend, floor, lift. Stretch, bend, tap the floor, lift. Nice and tall, proud chest. Crown of head to ceiling. Shoulders traveling down the back. Belly button pulled nice and tight toward that spine. Stretch, bend, floor, and lift. That's all we're going to do for now. And then, we're gonna change it up coming up. Nice soft bend in that supporting leg, keeping the weight evenly distributed between both sides of your body. Stretch, bend, floor, lift. Stretch, bend, floor. Last one. Stretch, bend, floor, lift. Keep the little bend in the leg and just do little pumps up. Again, readjusting those hips if you feel they came out of alignment. Now these are all teeny tiny, small movements here, just to get those muscles nice and fatigued and fired up. Don't need huge movements. And now we're just gonna stretch and bend to the corner of the room, really feeling the glute, really feeling the back of that leg, which is the hamstring muscle. Getting a nice stretch through that toe. Taking some nice deep cleansing breaths. More stretches and bends. Now just give me a nice stretch and just hold that leg up as high as you can. So we're just doing a nice hold here. Maybe giving that flex tappy foot. A couple of deep breaths. Release down and stretch it out. I'm going to move my bar back. We're going to do muffin no more, which is a great exercise for the outside of the thigh and of the waist. So we're going to come on down, and you can use a chair for this as well. I'm going to bring my arms over to my sturdy surface. I'm going to make sure the closer you are to the bar, the harder it is. So I have a good little distance here between myself and my surface. Stretching my leg directly out from my hip. I'm going to roll my leg into that hip socket, relax it just to give myself a small bend behind that leg. I'm also going to have to readjust here. Actually, it's the further away you are, the harder. The closer you are, the easier it is. Okay, so we're just going to start here with a little tapping of the floor. So I want you to feel this work in the outside of the thigh. You'll feel it in the glutes, and I want you to start feeling in the waist. You will feel it in the waist a little bit more momentarily. And we're trying to stay as tall as we can with the supporting leg, and I'm trying not to lean too much into my bar, which is freestanding, so it makes it a little bit harder. So we're just tapping the floor. Now we're going to just do little ups. So we're not tapping the floor at all now. We're just doing little ups with the movement. So it will start traveling up into your waist a little more. And if you want a little more waist action, you can always lean into the move just a little bit more with either your upper body, your arm, or both. So now we're just doing little ups. And now do bend stretch. So really stretch that leg. Give me that little bend. Concentrating on what you're doing. Just stretching and bending. So now hold that foot with a happy foot and give me little pumps up. I'm going to extend my arm out to the side because I want to feel it a little bit more in my waist, but you can just keep it against your surface if you want. Keeping those toes pointed forward. I need to point mine forward just a little bit more. Straight behind the knee now. Just hold it up for me. Maybe lean to the side. Release down. Stretch out through that waist. Oh, it always feels so good to give yourself a stretch through that waist, which is working at the same time. Okay, alternating sides. So you can see the opposite side here. Same setup as the side we were just doing. Leg comes right out to the side, relaxing it in the hips. You have a soft bend behind that knee. I'm just going to start with little floor off. So we're just tapping the floor and going off. Now you're going to feel this inside leg is already fatigued, right? It just worked. It's been working. We are coming up to stretch after one more series. So we're getting there. Just little taps. Keeping that belly nice and tight. Shoulders away from the ears. Trying not to lean into your bar for dear life. Now a little ups. So the goal is to try to keep this leg relaxed in the hip and out as straight as you can with the softest bend. It does take a lot of strength and coordination, so I'm working on it myself, but I want you to feel it in the outside of the leg as well as in this hip. So if you're feeling it in those two areas, you are performing the move correctly. Now stretch, stretch. Taking my time on these so I really get a good stretch. Plus my leg is fatigued from having supported the other side. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Now give me that happy foot. Maybe lean over. Try to get as straight as you can behind that leg. See, mine's having a hard time too, but I work on it. Every time I do it, I progress further, get better. And now just hold. Maybe lean over to the side. Relax down and stretch. So my body was shaking on that one too, which is fine. It's just the whole method gets you teagues those muscles, little movements. All right, so we're gonna come down and do a little bit more genie work, and then we're gonna head into our first stretch. So we're going to open the legs up. So I have my toes together behind me, and I'm opening my knees up nice and wide. So the wider you open your knees, the easier it is on your knees. So here you wanna keep your ears, shoulders, and hips all in alignment. And we're just gonna rise up a few inches above those heels. We're gonna stack our arms like a genie, and we're just gonna tilt in and out. In, out. So bringing the hips forward and back. So we're tilting in, back to neutral. Keeping the hover here. So you should be feeling the tops of the thighs. And you're also getting some core work. Remember to keep nice and straight here, not to lean forward too much. In, out, in, out. Keep the in, and now we're just gonna go up and down. So I have my hip bones tilted forward. I'm just rising and lowering, not coming down to my heels. I want to keep that tension in the tops of the thighs. Remember, you can always take a break at any point, reset your form, and rejoin. Up, down, good. Up, down, let's go up, two, down, two. Maybe bring the arms overhead, and that helps a little bit. Try to stay nice and straight. Up, two, up, two, down, two, up, two, one more, up, two, down, two, hover. Now go hip to hip. You're bringing your elbow to your opposite hip, still hovering above those heels, still feeling that work building up in the thighs. Hip, hip, hip. You're doing awesome. These are the ones that get my heart rate up the most. Hip, 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 hip. Let's do 4 more. 3, 2, last one. Stay hovering. Just give me a hold. Reaching those arms up to the sky. Keeping the hover in the legs. Keeping that breath. Ears away from shoulders and release down. And you can pound out those legs. We are going to stretch now. You've earned it. So I'm going to bring my right leg into my chest. I'm going to extend my left leg, hover over the floor, and just do little circles with that ankle. So we're going to go in both directions. It doesn't matter which one you start in. And then reverse here. Bring the left leg in, send the right leg, and I'm just doing little circles here with the perfect. So now let's bring those legs nice and strong, long in front of you. I have happy feet here, and I'm bringing my heels off the floor, which is automatically bringing my knees down and helping stretch out through those really tired, mine are tired thighs. If you can't do the heels off the floor, just stretch the legs out in front of you. You would just kind of leave like this. Now I want you to point, happy, point, noise feels good. Let's bring the feet in for a butterfly. So soles of the feet together. You can either hold this, pushing your elbows down on your knees, or you can grab onto your shins or your feet and just flap your butterfly wings. And that feels good on the inner thighs as well as the tops of the thighs and the outer thighs, which we just worked. Okay. So come to a nice seated position. We're going to work on some pelvic floor work. And this is your opportunity to just kind of relax your entire body. Let everything kind of hang out. Close your eyes. And I want you to think about your pelvic floor muscles. So those are the muscles that are hold in when you stop the flow of urine or gas. I want you to think of them as 4 points. You have your 2 hip bones, your pelvic bone in the front, and your pubic bone in the back. I want you to imagine a zipper is zipping up from your tailbone up through your pubic bone. So zip that zipper up nice and tight. And I want you to pull that zipper up to your belly button, up to your heart, up to your throat, up to the top of your head. I want you to hold that zipper there. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. Now slowly unzipper back to your throat, back to your heart, back to your belly button, and then totally disengage that zipper at the bottom. Now, I want you to imagine that you have magnets that are drawing your right and left hip bones together. So draw those magnets together. I want you to pull up for 1, pull up for 2, pull up and hold for 3, pull up and hold for 4, pull up and hold for 5, hold there, and now we're going to come down 5, 4, 1, disengage. Now, I want you to imagine all 4 points of your pelvic floor coming together at the bottom, and I want you to hold on to, imagine you're grabbing a marble, and we're going to bring that marble on an elevator ride. So we're going to come up to the first floor and hold, up to the second floor and hold, all 4 points now, up to the third floor and hold, up to the fourth floor and hold, up to the fifth floor and out the top of your head, throw the marble out, catch the marble, come down to the fifth floor, down to 4, down to 3, down to 2, down to 1. Let go of the marble, disengage, let it roll away, release and relax at the bottom. Beautiful. So we are going to come into some backside work. We are going to do some half banana, which is one of my favorites. So I'm going to start lying on my right side. And what you do is you push up here through the, you can always come down on your arm. Actually, no, stay up because it helps you engage the hips a little bit more. So I apologize. Stay up on your arm to really engage those obliques. And I want you to, oh hang on, my little earbud keeps falling out here. Bear with me 1 second. Technology. So we are making a nice banana shape here. So I have a soft bend behind those knees. I want you to draw that left leg or that top leg back, and I want you to draw this hip bone toward the floor. Okay, so we're going to have the hip bone drawing toward the floor, and so you can feel it kind of stretching here. I have a soft bend in that back leg, and I'm just going to do little ups here. Start with up. So just a little move to get that leg fired up. And we are, I like to look at the floor, look at my hands, because it helps me keep my waist pointing down to the floor. So just little ups to start. Soft bend in that leg. Now go down, up, down, up. So touch the floor, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. I got these in backwards, so I'm going to switch. Down, up, better. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Good. Keep it up and just do little backs. So imagining you're just like kicking that wall behind you. Back, back, back. Good. Again, feeling the waist here, feeling the glutes. Back. Now keep that leg straight in the leg. Go down, up, down, up, down. Good. Up, down. So we got a nice straight leg. Keeping those hips toward the floor to feel it in the hips. Down, up. Last one. Now just do little ups with that straight leg. Trying to push through the opposite oblique. Keeping the shoulder away from this ear as best you can. More. Hold and release down, and maybe give that leg a stretch as we come on over and do the opposite side. All right, so this side is also going to fatigue a little bit more quickly because we just worked it. It was supporting you. So nice and tall here through this oblique, keeping this ear away from this shoulder and ear. Soft bend in the leg, bring that top leg back behind you. I'm just going to scoop up a little bit more. And drawing this hip down toward the floor, I'm just going to start with little ups. Keeps the leg nice and warm, nice and tall and proud through that chest. So just doing little ups to start, and then we're going to touch the floor and come on up. gonna touch the floor, up, 4, off, 4. Keeping that soft bend behind the leg still. Keeping those hip bones drawing toward the floor, 4, off. Off, just take your time with these. Off. Now we're going to do a little back. So imagine you are just poking the wall behind you. Trying to keep those hip bones shining toward the floor so you feel the waist work too. This is why I love half banana, because it gets the waist, it gets the glutes, it gets the hamstrings. I'm even feeling inner thigh here. Okay, so now straighten the leg. Down, up, down. So I have my legs straight now. Down, up. Up, good. Almost done with half banana. Up, up. We get to move into some little upper body work. Now just up, up, up. Nice and straight behind that knee. I've got a strong point in my toe. I'm keeping those hip bones toward the floor. Pushing through the opposite elbow to keep nice and straight up in that torso. Get the obliques. More pumps. Hold and release down. Bring that leg in for a quick stretch. Perfect. So now we're going to do some upper body work in the form of Pluto snuffles. So Pluto snuffles have you starting with your knees together. And we're going to walk out about 2 arm lengths in front. And what we're going to do here is dive down to the floor and think nose, chin, chest as we come up into like an upward dog position. So we're going to dive forward, nose, oops, I slipped on that, chin, chest, don't mind me. I got a little excited here. All right, we're going to dive, nose, chin, bend the elbows as you can see. If you don't, you're going to go flying. Back into child's pose. Nose, chin, chest. I like to bring my gaze up to the ceiling. Have a nice stretch in that back. We're going to do 3 more. Nose, chin, chest. If this is too much, you can just hold the child's pose. Nose, chin, chest, or a nice upward facing dog. Last one. Nose, chin, chest. And stretch back into child's pose for me. Up yourself into a downward dog. Get back up on those feet, pushing the chest toward the thighs, bringing those hips up nice and strong in the air, maybe paddling through the feet. Walk the feet to the hands or hands to feet, bend the knees, and slowly roll up to stand. So let's hope I don't fall down it anymore during this next workout. All right, so let's work on calves. We're going to come back to our surface here. Let's bring the feet together, open up to pizza pie shape again, and we're just going to lift up and down. So we're going to go floor off in a nice, straight, tall position. Floor off. Imagine we have a book on our head here. We're not leaning on our surface. Keeping nice and strong and tall. Really working from the heels, even up through the glutes. Squeezing up through the backs of the legs. Shoulders away from the ears. Okay. Let's do little pulses at the top. My heels do come apart. Yours might stay together. But I really want you to think about squeezing through. I'm going to bring my heels together a little bit more. The backs of the legs, working the calves. So now I want you to bring everything down to the floor. Take your left foot, wrap it around the right, and we're going to do our floor off on one foot. So you should feel the weight of your body is on that one foot now. So it gives it just a little bit more of a challenge. Floor off, floor off, floor off. Stay high, do little pulses at the top. If this is too much, you can keep both feet on the floor as we started. Knees down, let's do the opposite. I'm going to wrap my left foot around my right ankle, floor off. So one leg, floor off. Everything nice and tight through the core. Shoulders away from the ears. And now up at the top, little ups. I want to end with a nice hold with both legs. Let's finish off some pulses here. And release down. Bring those feet together again. Open up to your little first position pizza pie. Come on up. heels together and squeeze. I want you to squeeze everything from the heels up through the back of the glutes. Maybe bring one or both arms off your bar for a balance challenge, or bring them to prayer. Hold here, squeeze, release down, and shake. So we're gonna come into some serious thigh work in second position today. So we're gonna open up to nice wide second position, making sure that the knees are tracking behind the toes, and we're thinking knees toward the back wall. So we're gonna stay nice and low on our flat feet, arm out to the side, and just start with little pulses. So come down to your work zone, and then drop an inch from there. So little 1-inch pulses to start. So the goal is to eventually get your thighs parallel to the floor. As you can see, mine aren't doing that today, but I'm feeling the work with these little down pulses to start. Now we're gonna do the opposite here. I want you to think up. So I want you to come up with the pulse now. Still get in the work zone and then come up. So I'm feeling my legs shake here. Nice even breathing. Little ups. Now let's come down to that work zone where you come down for 3, up for 3. Down for 3, up for 3. 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 1, 2. Last one. 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. All the way down. Give yourself a stretch up. All the way down. Give yourself a stretch up. Now come down into that work zone. Let's do our down pulses to start. Now stay steady and bring your hips forward, back. Little tilt forward, back. In, out. 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 Now, I want you to keep that neutral tailbone and just push the knees back, flare the knees back. So that little pulse down, in and out with the hips, knees flare back. We're gonna now do a little combo with those. So it's gonna be pulse, pulse, in, out, back, back. 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 Pulse, pulse, in, out. Just do little backs here. Stay low. Maybe bring both hands, both hands off the bar. We're just flaring those knees back. Hold. Maybe come down a little lower and hold. Maybe come down a little lower and hold. And release. Whew. That should have gotten your heart rate up. Let's do some stretching. We're going to come here over the bar, stretching out through the backs of the legs, taking some nice deep breaths. And we're going to come on up. I'm going to wrap one leg. I'm going to be careful on this bar here. I'm going to actually show you from behind. Wrapping one leg behind the other here, and just pushing my hips down toward the floor to get a nice stretch to the back of my legs. Make sure you have a stable surface to do this. Reverse. Now, you can do push-ups either on your bar, against the wall, or on the floor. So I'm going to come on the floor. I like to do mine from my knees. So we're going to keep your arms a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Keeping that gaze slightly in front of the hands. And we're going to lower and lift. Lower. So if you're at the bar, you're doing the same thing. You're lowering, lifting, keeping that belly nice and tight, keeping a nice straight line from your head down to your tailbone. Lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift. Stay low and give me little pulses down. That belly tight, keeping everything nice and tight through the chest. Nice straight line from head down to tailbone. Little pulses. Come down and hold. Maybe a little lower hold. Maybe a little lower hold. A few more pulses. 5, 4, 3, 2, hold. Release back. Push yourself back into child's pose if you're on the floor. Or if you're here at the bar, you would push yourself back into that L position again. Bend the knees, release the hands down. And slowly roll up to stand. It's time to stretch those poor legs out. So I'm going to bring one leg up over the bar here. And I'm going to inhale up, exhale. And what I'm going to do is just fold over this leg here. My opposite leg is directly under my other hip. And I'm just doing little fold overs. You can just hold this stretch. You do what feels good to you. You don't have to have it straight behind the knee. Do what works for you. I just want you to stretch through that hamstring. Now I want you to do little bend stretches with the legs. So see, I've adjusted my leg here. And I'm just going to do like a little bend stretch. Just as far as my body allows. Now come on up and bring that leg behind for a quadricep stretch. So bringing the hip forward, drawing the leg back, keeping the knee pointing toward the floor. And you could always turn this into dancer's pose if you want a little bit more of a stretch, if that feels better to you. And then we're going to reverse. So we're going to bring the opposite leg up and over. This leg is under this hip. You can inhale up, exhale, fold over, and just do little fold overs with the upper half of your body. And then bring the leg here and do little bend stretches with that leg. Just be careful and honor your body. It's taking me a really long time to get to the point where I'm at now, and I'm not anywhere near where I want to be, but every little bit helps. Be consistent and just doing what your body will allow. Inhale up, exhale, bring that leg back for a quadricep stretch. Bringing the heel as close to your bottom as you can. Drawing that hip bone forward for a deeper stretch in the hip flexor. Maybe dancer's pose if that feels good to you. I just like the regular quadricep stretch. Alright, so before we transition into our ab work, I'm just going to grab a quick sip of water here. Feel free to do the same. The rest of the class is ab work. And back work. Okay, so if you have some sort of a chair or a bar or a stool, we want to get it so that your legs are elevated or pressing against the wall. So we're going to come on down to do our abdominal work. This is our feet under the bar. I'm actually going to, if I was at the bar there, I would tuck my toes underneath, but I'm going to stay here and show you from the side. So I have my feet up here on this bar. And we want to bring the arms overhead. Feel that spine lift off the ground. Now draw the lower back down to the floor so that there is no way I can put a hand there. And that engages the abdominals without you overusing your glutes. Take a nice deep breath in, and I want you to bring the hands behind the head, and I want you to lift your head, neck, and shoulders. Low back is on the floor, my gaze is at my belly button, and I'm just going to start with little lifts. So I'm just lifting and lowering. Keeping those elbows nice and wide. Now, stay up nice and high. If you can, stretch the right or left arm out. Right now I have left to start. We're just lifting and lowering. If this is too much, you can put both hands back behind the head. And now slip. Left hand behind the head, right hand out to the side. Now, if you feel like your lower body is taking over too much, you can always put a ball in between your legs to help keep it steady. If you want to progress this, the final progression would be reaching both hands forward. Or you can bring both hands back behind the head, whatever works for you. Okay, now stay steady, bring the hands behind the head. If you want to, we're going to do something called a shower, where you bring your hands here and push them back and forward, back and forward. If this is too much for your head, neck, and shoulders, you could always bring the hands here and hold, same thing. Otherwise, you can do this little shower motion. Back, forward, gaze at the belly button, lower back on the floor. back, forward, back, forward. And release everything down. Take a little roll in and out through the spine if you want to, before we move into our next set. So, drawing that low back down on the floor again. This time the gaze is going to be at the ceiling. Bringing the hands behind the head. We're just going to lift and lower. Looking at the ceiling this time. Every time you come up, you can exhale and inhale on the way down. And now outstretch the left arm again, if you want to. Outstretch the right. And if you want to outstretch the both, otherwise you can do both hands behind the head, pushing the weight of the head into the fingertips. If your neck is getting fatigued or if you're using your neck too much. Now we're going to do that shower again. So bring the hands together and back and forward, keeping the head, neck, and shoulders up. Otherwise, you can just hold that position. Low back on the ground. Okay, release down. Give yourself a chance to roll in and out. Nice deep breath in. We are going to come up over again. So this time gaze is at the belly button. I want you to take your left arm and just swing it up and back. Your right hand is behind your head. So now we're just doing like a little arm walk. Bringing it back and forward. Switch. Right arm is doing the swinging. Left arm is doing the supporting. Now if you want to try both, or you can just bring the hands behind the head and hold. It's the same muscles being used. Arms moving is just a little bit more of a progression. Hold everything nice and long and strong. Release down and relax. So we're going to move into some whittling now. So low back is on the floor. Hands come behind the head. I just want you to twist to the left. Tiny little twists here. So you can see I'm barely moving. It's like I like to imagine I'm stuck like in a tube and I can only move so far. Now come center and twist to the right. Little twists. Teeny tiny movements to really get that inner core. Now we're going to come center and let's go left, center, right, center, left, center, right, center, left, center, right, center, left, center, right. Let's do it a little quicker. Left, center, right, center, left, center, right, center, left, center. You can even bring the elbows in. Make it even smaller. Now just stay center. Come on up and hold. Release down. Stretch the arms back. Bring the feet down to the floor. We're going to do our elephants. Again, nice stretch here. Okay, hands come behind the head. We're going to do 12 successive crunches up in a row, never coming down to the ground. Ready? We're going to lift. 1 elephant, 2 elephant, 3, 4 elephant, 5 elephant, 6 elephant, 7 elephant, 8 elephant, 9 elephant, 10 elephant, 11 elephant, 12 elephant. Bring the soles of the feet together. If you can, shoot the arms through. Otherwise, leave them behind the head. Hold the last one. Release down and stretch. I like to bring both my legs over to one side. Maybe opening up through the center. and then bringing them to the other side. Feeling a nice stretch through. While I'm on my side, I always like to push myself up because we are going to work on our sardines now. So let's position ourselves in the middle of the floor. I'm going to push myself back just a tad so you can see here. We're going to bring my hands behind my knees. I'm going to roll down so my head, neck, and shoulders are up off the ground. Bringing my hands behind my head. We're going to start bringing the left leg up and the right leg up to 90. And we're just going to start with little toe taps here. Now if this is too much, you can always keep your head, neck, and shoulders down on the floor. And you'll still feel the work, especially in the low core, by keeping the head, neck, and shoulders down on the floor. So it's up to you how you want to do this. Okay, so now keep the feet up in tabletop, reaching one hand out. Remember we did those reaches before? Do these again, keeping the knees up. If it's too much for you to keep your knees up, you can bring them back down on the ground. It's up to you. Keep mine up. The other side, I'm going to reach. And then if you want to do both, or you can keep your head hands behind your head too. And release your head. And release your feet. Take a second to roll in and out, which I like to just kind of arch my back and then bring it back down to the floor. Arch my back and bring it back down. Keep that low back down on the floor. We're going to do one leg crunch. So bring one leg up into tabletop, upright the head, neck, and shoulders, and crunch up. Crunch the knee toward the chest as you crunch up toward the knee. If it's too much for you to do both, just do one or the other. Swap sides. Maybe bring both and do both for just a little set here. If it's too much, just do the legs in or just do the knees, the arms up. You can do them both. And bring the feet down, hands down, bring the upper body down, stretch those legs out. Let's bring the soles of the feet together in a nice long diamond shape. Low back down on the floor again, and we're going to do palming now. So you can always bring your hands behind your head for this as well. Hold palming up for a second and see if you can just slip the hands past one another. If your hands behind the head, just do that little twisting we did earlier. Just get a little bit more oblique action before we finish this section up. Hold everything up, release down, and stretch. Arms overhead, legs nice and long, rolling in and out through that spine. Feel that amazing stretch. Bring the knees into the chest, roll up to, ow, I'm still healing from a little bit of a tailbone incident, so don't mind me. I thought I could do it. We're going to inhale up, exhale, sweep. Inhale up, exhale, sweep. Inhale up, exhale, sweep. One more inhale up, exhale, and sweep. So let's come on into our escapes and no escapes. So we're going to sit here and we're going to C-curve this way this time. Push our hands into the floor and keep our legs nice and straight. And we're going to just start, actually we're going to start with wide legs. And I'm going to just kind of turn a little bit so you can see me here. Pushing into the floor, and we're just going to do little taps here. So all I'm doing is tapping the floor. Tap, 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 tap. 5, 4, 3, 2, opposite side. If this is too much to bring your legs wide, you can always bring them more narrow. It makes it a little bit less of a challenge. that. So now we're going to bend and stretch here. One leg at a time, just 10. 4, 3, 2, 1. Opposite side, bend and stretch, just 10. 3, 2. Now we're going to do the same thing with a flex foot. Bend and stretch, 10. We're going to do the opposite foot here, this 10. This is leg work and ab work. 4, 3, 2, and 1. So now we're going to do a pyramid. So keeping those legs wide, pushing your way into the floor, bring one leg up and the other. So it's as if you're just drawing a half a pyramid with each leg. Pyramid, 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 pyramid. One more each side. Pyramid, pyramid. Amazing. Okay. Last move we're going to do is no escapes. So we're going to do the same format. C curve, pushing down, flexing our happy feet, and we're just going to march here. Marching. This is called German Goose. This is our modified level 1 version. Keeping those legs nice and straight. Feeling the low abs work as we also work the tops of the thighs. Just marching nice and easy here. I find if you progress these moves too quickly, you totally lose all of the engagement that we're after. March, 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 march. Let's do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And bring those knees, those feet together. Stretch it out. I like to count on those because I feel like they're really the hardest part of the whole workout, and it kind of gives people something to concentrate on. Last section before we stretch is tummy time. So come on down to our tummies. We're gonna lay nice and flat here. I want you to keep the pelvic bone nice and heavy. Stacking the hands, you're gonna rest your forehead on top of your hands. I'm gonna keep mine up for demonstration purposes. So we're pointing through those toes, and I want you to lift the outside leg and just bend, stretch, one leg at a time. So I'm starting with left. Little bends and stretches, keeping that thigh nice and high. And now switch legs. Opposite leg, little bend, stretch. Tiny move here, keeping that thigh off the ground. Keeps it engaged, engaging the back. Now see if you can do both, little bend, stretch. You'll find the move is even smaller. Release. Keeping those legs bent. Let's do one leg at a time. We're going to do a bendy. So we're going to bend, lift, stretch. Bend, lift, stretch. This is one leg at a time. Got to get that thigh up nice and high. Keep those abs engaged with those pelvic bones on the floor. Bend, lift, stretch. Bend, lift, stretch. Bend, lift, stretch. Bend, lift. Last one. Bend, lift. Opposite leg. Bend, lift, stretch. 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 Bend, lift. Last one. Bend, lift, stretch. Bend both legs. Point the toes. Just do little lifts. You're going to notice your legs don't move very much here. Little lifts. Hold. Bring those legs up as high as you can. Really squeeze everything. Relax down. Bring your arms to your sides. All right, and then lift your nose, chin, and chest nice and long. Straight line down through the body. Pushing the hands into the sides of the thighs. Release down. Lift the nose and the chin. One more. Release down. Lift one more time. Maybe lift the legs off the ground. Push the hands into the thighs. Down. Push yourself into child's pose. We are ready for our final stretches. tabletop. We're gonna arch the back, hollow the spine, arch the back, hollow the spine. One more, arch the back, hollow the spine. Sitting on the heels, bringing the hands to the knees. If you can, maybe one at a time, bring the knee off, or do both. It gets the tops of the feet. Up, footsie, footsie. And let's come on into a nice wide straddle position. Bringing the hands behind the back, pushing ourselves forward. And now reaching in front, crawling. Really rounding the spine. I like to bring my chin to my chest. Feel a nice stretch in the upper back. Now pushing the pastry, rolling the pastry, pushing forward. And up, inhale. Turn to the left leg. Left hand comes behind the left back. Right hand comes over. So left hand behind, right hand over. Little fold overs, or you can just hold. Center, inhale, exhale, right hand comes behind the back, left hand comes over the right leg, hold or fold over, it's up to you. Bringing the legs together, you're going to inhale up, exhale, fold. Inhale up, exhale, little C curve back. I can't go too far back yet. Inhale up, exhale, fold. Inhale up, exhale, C curve. Inhale up, exhale, fold. Inhale up, exhale, C curve. One more, inhale up, exhale, fold and hold. And release. Come on down to your backs. We're going to bring the arms in the touchdown position. We're going to lift the hips up off the floor to feel a nice stretch through the upper thighs, upper legs. Bring the tailbone down to the ground. Lift the hips back up, nice straight leg. Drop the tailbone down. One more, lift the hips. Drop the tailbone down. Bring the knees into the chest. We're going to do a little spinal massage here. Now cross one ankle over the other. Hands come behind the head. Just bring the knees into the chest. Head, neck, and shoulders stay up. And then switch. Into chest. Neck and shoulders stay up. Bring the knees into the chest. I like to roll over onto my side. Come to a seated position. We are going to end our class together today with a reminder of the affirmation that we set, or the intention that we set at the beginning of the workout. Mine was to just imagine that I am this breeze flowing in and out of my own life, something of that nature. Just the flow and the movement and the energy. We used a Crisp Breeze Diffuser Blend, Tiger Eye Crystal, to really seal in our practice today. So I'd like to thank you so much for joining me here at the Zen Bar for a full class in the original Lotte Berk bar class method. We're going to inhale up, exhale, release, inhale up, exhale, release. One more, inhale up, bring the hands to heart center, exhale, release. Thank you again for joining me. I hope to see you at the Zen Bar again sometime soon. Namaste.